Hello and welcome to Artist Express. We have a rare treat today as we have a band who will play for us, the Radicles. And I will introduce first Anita Chase, who will tell us about the band and the origin of the name. Anita lives in the Salina area and works with the Land Institute. Anita, welcome.
Thank you. Very nice to be here today.
We're excited to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about the band, how you came together and got started, and do explain about the name?
Well, the Radicles, first let me explain about the name. It's not the usual spelling. It's R-A-D-I-C-L-E-S, and it's actually the part of the plant embryo that becomes the root. And all of us in the band have roots in Kansas, although we've not all been living in Kansas simultaneously. But we came together at the Land Institute, myself and Carl, our drummer, and Megan. Megan's an intern. Carl was an intern, but now he's staff. And Bill has been very involved with the Land Institute as well, although he's not on staff. And so we kind of have some common thoughts around the land and protection of it. And we just started kind of jamming together, doing some open mics, and decided to become a band and start auditioning for bass players, and we're very lucky to find Bill recently.
And is there any connection with the music you play and the land in terms of, do you have a specific style, or do you look for content that has to do with environmental issues and so forth?
Well, we definitely do both originals and covers, and one of our original songs was inspired by the Land Institute, but I would say not necessarily topic-wise. We have a lot of different influences and styles, and so I would say that's similar to the land, that we pull influences from everywhere, and just like the land is a kind of global institution, our influences are global as well.
Right. Now, we have several CDs here, and before we get too far along, do you have a CD that is strictly the Radicles?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
so
we will.
These are CDs that have been produced for your various band members.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So where could people find these CDs?
Well, some of them, the ones that I have from Half Mad Poet and the Lost Brigade, are at Ad Astra and on Amazon. I Am Nation, Megan's band, is on Spotify, and Bill's CDs, he has some different musical solo CDs and Wild Voodoo, and they are available on CD Baby.
On CD Baby, okay. And now, do you have some upcoming engagements where the general public could come and see you play?
Definitely, we
All
do.
right.
Very excited that we'll be joining the River Festival on the Bravo stage this year.
Excellent.
On June 15th.
Good.
And then we're just going to see what happens from there.
Right, that's wonderful. And so you play a wide variety of musical styles. I heard you warming up a little bit. It sounded a little bluesy.
Yes.
Is that something that all of you share? An affinity for that kind of music?
I would say we definitely are probably more rock-based in this band, but we have influences all the way from blues to experimental music. John Cage, our bass player, is very influenced by pop music, like Paramore, and I always liked heavy metal when I was younger. And so just different styles of rock, but also some classical jazz, just a little bit of everything thrown in together.
Well, my two boys loved heavy metal, and to my great surprise, when they both left home, I kind of missed it. So I have a few Iron Maiden and AC/DC CDs myself. If it's good music, it's good music. That's the way it rolls. Would you talk a little bit? Normally, I visit with only one person, and but it's really nice to have others in the studio today, and I really look forward to having you play for folks. How did you get started playing music? Did you start as a child, as part of your general education, or did you pick it up on your own?
Well, personally, both of my parents sang. They were in choirs and very involved in church choirs, and so I sang a lot, but I was very shy. But then when I started learning about heavy metal, I was like, I want to play guitar. So I started taking some guitar lessons and gradually got in a band, Dave and Friends, out of Wichita, that I still play with every once in a while. That was more of a country classic rock band, and kind of went from there, starting my own bands in college, and eventually Half Mad Poet. That was my first big rock band. We ended up moving to Chicago and went on tour and released CDs. And then joined the Lost Brigade, which is more Americana blues, and we're on Cowdog Records. And then I wanted to come closer to home, and I really, really wanted to work for the Land Institute.
Right.
And so came here and was thrilled to find such great musicians here as well.
Yes.
And I'm very, very, very excited about this band.
That's
because
great.
I
am
feel like
too.
There's a lot of potential.
And when did you come back to Kansas then, or come to Kansas to live?
December 2017.
27. So only not even 2 years.
Yeah, not that long ago.
A year and a little more.
Yeah.
So you very quickly became acquainted with other musicians. How difficult was it to find a good mix of musicians to make your band? Because, I mean, we've all seen Spinal Tap. We know they don't always work.
Yes.
So how did you go about putting together a group that coalesced?
Well, I think just meeting other musicians, well, first of all, very lucky that the Land Institute, a lot of people are very musical, and so there was just a lot of the interns were musical, and Carl and I started jamming first and just kind of like, maybe we should do a band. And I was hosting an open mic at the Gargoyle Room for a short term at the Salina Innovation Foundation, and then we also would play the open mics at Ad Astra, which are amazing.
Right.
Mike and Tammy, thumbs up.
Yes, great job there.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. So, and then you did mention that you auditioned for a drummer, was it?
Bassist.
Or a bassist,
yes,
okay.
Yes. And we had some great, really qualified applicants, and you know, it's just sometimes it's like hard to pick somebody, but Bill is like so enthusiastic and an amazing musician, and we're really excited to have him.
And do you have ambitions or goals for, say, the next 2 or 3 years? What kind of development do you hope takes place?
Well, personally, I'm hoping that we get a chance to do some touring, at least in the region, and we'll see what happens. You know, everybody's different schedules, but I think everybody's pretty on board with seeing what happens.
Right.
And definitely planning on playing more in the Salina area for sure, and I would like to record in the next year or two. I have some friends that have a studio, but it's just kind of, like I said, we're a fairly new band, so it's just, you know, you kind of coalesce and get everybody's ideas of what they plan on doing and go from there.
And how do you decide your playlist? Is this a democratic process or is someone in charge?
It is a democratic process.
So you just throw out ideas?
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you play songs and you're like, okay, this is a good song, but it just doesn't really work for us.
Right.
But I like that because we have so many influences that we can kind of put our own spin on things and pull in some different influences. It doesn't have to exactly be note for note.
Sure.
And then also being songwriter. I'm a songwriter, Megan's a songwriter, Bill's a songwriter, and Carl soon will be.
He won't be able to resist, right?
Yes.
And have you collaborated on any of your songwriting? You know, is there interplay between lyrics and melody, and you get together and do that, or is it pretty much an individual activity when you start the songwriting?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, so far what we've done is somebody brings a song into the band, like I bring it and I have lyrics and a melody and all that. And I think earlier in my songwriting career, I used to be a lot more set on the song should be exactly like this. But I have learned that it can be much, much better and much bigger than what I imagined. If just you come in with an idea and then everybody kind of puts their own spin on it.
Right.
And it goes different directions than you'd originally planned, but it's usually just this totally amazing
Right.
thing that
It
you'd never
begins
seen.
to flower,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
because you have so many, and that's another
Yes,
connection to the
definitely.
land. Would you be willing to play a tune for us today?
We would love to.
I think that's marvelous.
We have
All
a song called "Freak Like Me" that is a song that I wrote, and there's a video for it on YouTube, but we have a little bit different spin on it, which is
Okay.
the way it should be.
That's great. So we'll be able to do a comparison.
Yes.
All right. We'll go right to that.
Said, hey man, she's one of us. Now what the hell does that mean? I'm glad that you think I'm just another freak, but I still feel in between. A cross from a cross and a ball and a rock, a nail and a smile will make them talk. A color tattoo or the devil's eye, but I think that he sees it black and white, black and white. Said it's alright, babe, you like us. Now why would I wish to be? I'm sorry that you think I'm just another freak, but I'm just trying to save me. A cross from a cross and a ball and a rock, a nail and a smile will make them talk. A color tattoo or the devil's mind. Everyone's got one, it's still inside. All we are is trying to keep from dying. I get a tattoo of the devil on my face. Then every time something goes wrong, you'd have someone to blame. A cross on the chopping block. Slavery and empathy are still in stock. The color tattoo of the devil's mind. Everyone's got one, it's still inside.
Anita, thank you so much for the song. We're delighted to have the opportunity to hear you. Anita, would you like to introduce the members of the band?
Yes, I would. This is Bill Vartan. He's our bassist. Carl Bowden, our drummer, and Megan Gladbach, who is vocals and guitar.
Okay. And I believe the only one who actually grew up in the Salina area is Carl, right?
Yep, that's
and
correct.
so you have been a musician in Salina since your very first lesson.
Oh, yeah. For a while.
Okay. Now, and I want to remind people of all the places where they can see you.
Yes.
Would you give us our dates again?
June 15th, the Bravo stage at the River Festival.
Yes.
I don't know the exact time yet. And then hopefully sometime in July we'll be doing one of the Friday Night Live.
Oh,
But
good.
still getting that defined. And then
Right.
just look for us on our Facebook page for we're going to be booking shows in probably local bars, and maybe we'll throw some parties. And
So do a search on the Radicles on Facebook.
Radicles.
Yes, don't spell it the other way. Thank you for being with us today. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.